these days is promiscuous. First, they fell in love with Trump because they remembered him from back in the 80s when they were young and happy and their penises worked. But the Donald turned out to be a lot like his hair. Ridiculous, difficult to control, and not very believable. So then they switched to Michelle Bachmann, but she lacked a certain gravitas, or whatever the Latin word is for brain. And she had some skeletons in her closet, like her husband. So then they dropped her and convinced Rick Perry to run. Oh yes, finally the conservative they were all looking for. But then something horrible happened. Rick started talking. And he sounded so dumb that now they're even considering voting for a blackout. The problem is that these candidates all look good from afar, and no one is more visible from afar than Chris Christie. But before you teabaggers embarrass yourselves yet again, let me share with you what Chris Christie looks like in the morning. He's for civil unions. He's for gun control. And he was for the Ground Zero mosque. And most damning of all, there's a picture of him doing the worst thing a Republican could get caught doing. Yes, he touched the socialist Satan. And then smiled. So, save yourself the heart. And that's the downside to living in a fantasy world. For a Republican candidate to not disappoint you, he would have to be Jesus of Nazareth. And even Jesus would be toast after a few news cycles because feed the hungry sounds suspiciously like welfare. And heal the sick for free. That is definitely Obamacare. And turn the other cheek? Maybe you didn't hear Jesus, but this is the party that cheers execution. So here now is the short campaign timeline of Jesus Christ, Republican candidate. 3 days after Jesus announces he's in, a Gingrich spokesman reports that he read Jesus' book and finds some aspects of it troubling. Mitt Romney says Jesus' previous statements make him appear anti-business. And Rick Perry asks if America is ready for a Jewish president. And then Rick eats a paint chip. Day 7. At the Republican debate, the other candidates pile on the new frontrunner. Michelle Bachmann calls the meat inheriting the earth a colossal expansion of the estate tax. And Newt Gingrich scores the big zinger when he says, Mr. Christ, America can't afford another cheat. Day 9, teabaggers start getting emails from their idiot brother-in-law about how Jesus is not even from this country. And was born alongside a bunch of animals in a manger, and not to harp on it, but where's the birth certificate? And if he's a carpenter, is he too pro-union? Day 10. Jesus is now polling fourth behind Perry, Romney, and the pizza company. And in a desperate attempt to gain credibility, he goes to New York and has coffee with Trump, who pronounces him a decent guy, but a little effeminate. All right, that's our show. I want to thank my